Portugal still has some of the best value country houses in Western Europe. And today I'm showing you 8 of the best options on the market right now. Prices start at 165,000 euros and go up to 265,000 euros, and every property you'll see is fully livable. No major renovations, no hidden projects. This isn't just about the homes themselves. It's about what your money really gets you, the location, the space, and the lifestyle that comes with it. I've also saved the strongest deals for the end, so make sure you stick around for those. Let's take a look. We start in the Serra da Estrela foothills, up in Seia. This is one of Portugal's most dramatic inland regions, a granite mountain range that doubles as the country's only ski destination in winter. Surrounded by schist villages, glacial valleys, and rivers so clear they look artificial. The landscape here is raw and generous at the same time, and the towns in this corridor have real bones, markets, cafes, local life, without any of the tourist markup that comes with the coast. With a property that immediately sets the bar, and it sets it high, for 165,000 euros. That is $190,660. That is your opening number. For that, you are getting a Quinta in Santa Comba with 400 square meters of built space. That's about 4,305 square feet, a floor area of 360 square meters, and brace yourself, a land plot of 28,233 square meters, which works out to just over 303,000 square feet, or more than 28 hectares of land attached to this property. The listing describes it as second-hand, good condition. So according to what's on the listing, this is not a fixer-upper situation. It's a T1, one bathroom, which means the living space itself is compact. And that's the honest trade-off here. You're not getting a sprawling manor house on the inside. What you're getting is a genuine piece of Portuguese countryside at a price that makes no sense when you think about what 28,000 plus square meters of land costs in most of Europe. And the best part is, you're in the Serra da Estrela region, granite mountains, river valleys, some of the most photogenic countryside in Portugal. And you're in it under 170,000 euros. That said, the next one immediately opens the question, what if you want more bedrooms for almost the same money? Because property number 2, also at 170,000 euros, $196,435, is a Quinta in Fundão. Fundão sits in the Cova da Beira Valley, sheltered by the Serra da Estrela to the north and the Serra da Gardunha to the south. A town that's been producing some of Portugal's most famous cherries for centuries and is now quietly becoming one of the most talked about relocation destinations in the interior. It has a real high street, a university presence, and a growing international community without losing any of its authentic Portuguese character. 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, 176 square meters of built space. That's around 1,894 square feet, and a land plot of 2,262 square meters, or approximately 24,347 square feet. Built in 1951, listed as second-hand, good condition. Now, Fundão is worth knowing about. It's a town with real infrastructure, a proper high street, cafes, a market, healthcare. It's not isolated countryside living. It's countryside living with a safety net of services nearby. The Fundão area has also been attracting remote workers and expats for a few years now, so the community feel is changing in a good way. For 170,000 euros, you're walking into a 4-bedroom house in a region where the cherries in spring are practically legendary, and the mountains are on your doorstep. Listings move fast in this part of Portugal, so if something like this lands in your search, you move on it. But hold that thought, because property 3 is at the same price, and it completely changes what you think 170,000 euros can get you. Quick breath here. This stretch of central Portugal, Beira Interior, sits between Coimbra and the Spanish border. The winters are cool, the summers are warm and dry, and the nearest international airport in Lisbon is roughly 2.5 hours south. There's a reason this corridor has been quietly drawing in a wave of buyers from the UK, Northern Europe, and North America. The cost of living compared to Lisbon or Porto is significantly lower, and the landscape is, well, you'll see it. Property 3. Still €170,000. $196,435. Village house in Alvaco das Varcias, Oliveira da Hospital. Oliveira da Hospital is a small municipality in the Coimbra district that most people fly right past on the way to somewhere else. And that's exactly why it's still priced like this. It sits at the edge of the Serra da Estrela Natural Park, with stone villages, terraced hillsides, and a pace of life that feels genuinely removed from the modern world, while still being connected to Coimbra in under an hour. The Schist Villages Trail Network runs through this area, linking some of the most visually striking traditional architecture in all of Portugal. And this is the first real wait what moment of this list. This is a multi-floor villa with, according to the listing, views of both the Serra da Estrela and the Acre Mountains. On the first floor, 3 bedrooms including a suite, 2 full bathrooms, ground floor, a large bright living room with a fireplace, access to balconies, a fully equipped open-plan kitchen, pantry, and guest WC. Go down to floor -1. Garage for 2 cars, laundry room, barbecue, terrace. Floor -2, a wine cellar. Outside, there's a 2,350 square meter flat plot of land that's around 25,295 square feet, accessible from both the house and a separate entranceway with a watercourse crossing the property. The listing notes it's furnished and includes internet and cable TV. It's described as having energy certification in the A or B range, which means thermal efficiency and lower running costs. This is a real family home, already set up, already comfortable. Not a museum, it's real life. For €170,000. The new leader just changed, but the next 2 are going to make you reconsider again, so stay with me. Property 4, €175,000. $202,212, just a notch up. And this one is something genuinely different. A quinta in Aldeia de Santa Margarida, Idanha-a-Nova. Idanha-a-Nova is one of those Portuguese municipalities that feels like it exists slightly outside of time. A UNESCO-recognized city of music, set in a wide, sun-drenched landscape near the Spanish border, surrounded by prehistoric dolmens, Roman ruins, and cork oak forests. The region is known for its extreme quiet, its clean air, and its near-total absence of tourist crowds, which makes the land prices here feel almost surreal by comparison. According to the listing, it's described as fully renovated and ready to move into, with roughly 120 square meters of built space, about 1,292 square feet, and approximately 1 hectare of land. 1 hectare. The architecture is unusual in the best way. A granite-built section combined with a circular structure made from natural materials, described as providing excellent insulation, cool in summer and warm in winter. Inside, the open-plan living, dining, and kitchen area runs to around 80 square meters, or roughly 861 square feet. 2 bedrooms, a bathroom, storage room. One of the bedrooms is set up as an independent guest room with its own shower. There's a wood-burning stove, double-glazed windows, an electric boiler. Outside, a workshop, a storage room, a carport. The property connects to mains electricity and has 2 boreholes for water, plus 10,000 liters of tank storage. And now the land. This is the kicker. Approximately 60 olive trees, a 90 square meter vegetable garden, that's about 969 square feet, with a chicken coop, 2 greenhouses, productive vines, numerous fruit trees including orange, lemon, apricot, fig, pomegranate, and a traditional bread oven. There's a paddock with a sheepfold. From the property, you get views of the Serra da Gardunha. The listing also notes proximity to Idanha-a-Nova, a UNESCO-recognized city of music, and nearby historical sites including Roman heritage at Idanha-a-Vella and the Templar remains at Monsanto. And the best part is, according to the listing, you're already looking at no major renovations. This is described as ready to move into. For someone looking at a more self-sufficient lifestyle, a remote work escape, or a serious off-the-beaten-path investment, this one is remarkable at this price. But we're heading into the €230,000 plus range now, and that's where things get genuinely hard to explain. Let's take a second between listings. Portugal's interior gets about 2,700 to 3,000 hours of sunshine a year in these central and southern zones. The cost of a coffee is under €1 in most of these villages. The roads connecting these regions to Lisbon and Porto have improved significantly over the last decade, and for what it's worth, the expat and digital nomad community in Portugal is well established. You will find your people whether you're arriving from the US, the UK, Germany, or anywhere else. Property 5, €235,000, roughly $271,542. And this is the point in the list where the value density just goes up another level. A quintinha in Maçãs de Dona Maria, Alviazere, about 90 minutes from Lisbon and 60 minutes from the central Portugal coast. Alviazere is a quiet municipality in the Leiria district, tucked into rolling hills of pine and eucalyptus, the kind of place where the weekly market is still the social event of the village, and the pace of life is genuinely unhurried. It's close enough to the coast to feel connected, but far enough from it to still be affordable. And that balance is exactly what makes it interesting right now. 2-story main house, a separate studio apartment, multiple outbuildings, all described as livable and functional right now. The studio apartment alone, according to the listing, has a bedroom with shower, kitchen, living area, and terrace with a recently installed wood-burning stove. It could function as a completely independent apartment. The main house has a fully equipped kitchen with granite countertops, solid wood cabinets, a highly efficient wood-burning stove that heats the space and can heat water, a living room, 2 bedrooms, and a spacious bathroom with a bathtub. The whole property is equipped with double-glazed windows, central heating, fiber optic internet, mains water, municipal sewage, and electricity. Outside, the centerpiece is a vineyard, a working vineyard, with a fully functional wine cellar in the outbuildings, plus a double garage, workshop, wood storage, and marble-paved patio. There's a well for irrigation and mature fruit trees, including orange and olive. The village itself has a weekly market, a butcher, 2 mini-markets, and cafes. The listing notes, it can be sold furnished or unfurnished depending on the offer. This is not a holiday cottage. This is a proper, functioning property with productive land, a rental unit, and fiber internet, all described as no major renovations needed. And the best part is, that studio alone could offset costs immediately if you want to put it on a rental platform. New leader. But we're not done. Property 6, €250,000, $288,875. And this one is a genuine curve. A Woodhouse in Alvados, Porto de Mós, described in the listing as a new construction. Porto de Mós sits at the southern edge of the Leiria district, where the limestone plateaus of the Serra da Estrela begin to rise dramatically out of the flat landscape, a natural park full of caves, ancient trails, and one of the most otherworldly rock formations in the Iberian Peninsula. The town itself has a medieval castle on the hill and a quiet, authentic character that hasn't been touched by mass tourism. 1 bedroom, but don't let that fool you. The listing highlights excellent areas, superior quality finishes, thermal insulation, double glazing, electric shutters, air conditioning, and a wood-burning stove. It's already adapted for reduced mobility. Outside, a multifunctional annex and a porch next to the barbecue area. And here's where it earns its place. It's located in the heart of the Serra da Estrela Natural Park. You're not just buying a house. You're buying into a protected natural landscape with limestone formations, walking trails, and a quality of setting that money usually can't buy in new construction. This is the one for someone who wants something brand new, energy efficient, and architecturally different, with nature as the backyard. It's not the biggest on the list, and it's priced accordingly. But as a new build in a natural park, it's playing a completely different game. If that's your aesthetic, you won't find better, and subscribe here if you want more of these. The next region we're covering is even more affordable than what you're seeing today. Property 7, €260,000, roughly $300,430. And we move south into the Alentejo, The Alentejo is the soul of rural Portugal, a vast, sun-baked plain of cork oaks, wheat fields, whitewashed villages, and some of the most dramatic sunsets you'll ever see. It's the largest region in the country and one of the least densely populated, which means land is generous, silence is real, and the lifestyle is genuinely slow in the best possible way. Almodóvar sits in the southern Alentejo, close enough to the Algarve border to give you access to the coast without paying coast prices. And that geographic sweet spot is exactly why this property belongs on this list. Near the village of Fontes, 3 bedrooms, all described as bright and inviting. The kitchen has a fireplace, a real kitchen fireplace for those long winter dinners that feel like something from another era. A bathroom with a bathtub, and then a separate annex with a traditional wood-fired oven, a loft, and an office space. Outside, a front garden, a private back patio, fruit trees, a barbecue area, a well, and a storage shed. There's a cafe steps away. Almodóvar is 10 minutes, and, this is the deal kicker, the beaches of the Algarve are approximately 50 kilometers away. 50 kilometers. That means you're in deep, quiet Alentejo countryside with stone roads and fig trees and complete tranquility, and you can be standing on a world-class beach in under an hour. This is the one for the family that wants the Algarve lifestyle without the Algarve price, or the couple that wants the best of both worlds, nature and sea, without compromising on comfort. As described, it's a livable property right now with no major renovations indicated. And the best part is, the Alentejo is still one of the most undervalued regions in Portugal for long-term lifestyle value. But I did promise you the last one would break expectations, and it does, for a very different reason. Property 8, €265,000, $306,200. The top of this list, a country house in Fornelos, a few minutes from the center of Fafe, in northern Portugal. Fafe is a small but lively town in the Minho region, set among the green hills and granite landscapes of the Ave Valley. This is the Portugal of dense forests, rushing rivers, and stone architecture that goes back centuries, and it sits comfortably between Braga and Guimarães, 2 of the most historically rich cities in the country. The northern coast and its beaches are within reasonable driving distance, and the Francisco Sá Carneiro Airport in Porto is under an hour away. And here's where I'm going to be completely straight with you, because that's the whole point of this. The listing on this one is explicitly clear that it requires rehabilitation works. 2 floors, 314 square meters of gross area. That's roughly 3,380 square feet in a calm, quiet area. But attached to it are 2 additional plots of land classified as second construction plots under the local PDM. Approximately 1,900 square meters, or about 20,450 square feet, and 800 square meters, around 8,610 square feet, meaning this land has building feasibility. That changes the calculus entirely. This is not a move-and-ready purchase like the others on this list, and I'm not going to pretend otherwise. Always check documents and fees, and factor rehabilitation costs carefully. But if you're an investor, a developer, or someone who wants to build on the land while gradually restoring the house, this is a rare opportunity in a region close to Braga, Porto, and the northern coast. Fafe itself is a real town with full infrastructure. The land classification alone, buildable with area, is the asset here. This is the speculative pick on the list, the one for someone with a longer horizon and a vision, and it earns its place because it's a completely different kind of value play compared to everything that came before it. So let's land this. 8 properties, €165,000 to €265,000, $190,660 to $306,200 now, all across Portugal's interior. For the best pure land value, it's hard to argue with property 1, that Quinta in Sanacamba, with over 303,000 square feet of land attached, is essentially unbeatable at that price. For the most turnkey, livable, fully equipped deal, property 3 in Alvoco das Várzeas, the furnished multi-floor villa with mountain views and a wine cellar for €170,000, is the one that made even me do a double take. For lifestyle completeness, Property 5 in Maçãs de Dona Maria gives you the vineyard, the studio rental unit, fiber internet, and the full package at €235,000. For proximity to the sea without paying sea prices, Property 7 near Almodóvar is the one to watch. Alentejo quiet life, Algarve beaches within reach, and Property 4 in Idanha-a-Nova is quietly the most underrated. 1 hectare of working land, 60 olive trees, a renovated house, and a UNESCO City of Music nearby, all for €175,000. Which one would you actually pick? Drop it in the comments. I genuinely want to know whether you're going for the land, the lifestyle, the rental income, or the sea access. And if any of these have you rethinking what your budget can actually do in 2026, subscribe, because the next region we're covering makes this list look expensive, and that is not something I say lightly.